Most people spend their whole lives searching for signs, yet the sign that truly matters isn't one you chase, it's one that chases you. And that already breaks a huge belief. What if the deepest truth about your life doesn't arrive through effort, study, or logic, but through recognition? He knows that sounds counterintuitive, almost unfair, especially if you've spent years trying to figure yourself out. But some truths aren't unlocked by the mind, they're unlocked by frequency. He explains that there's a symbol of creation that doesn't appear when someone is curious, it appears when they're ready. And here's the controversial part, you don't choose it. It chooses you. People go through books, courses, and spiritual tools looking for meaning, yet their biggest breakthrough usually comes from something they didn't expect, a shape, a pattern, a design that won't leave them alone. And when it shows up, it feels strangely familiar, like a memory you never knew you lost. This symbol acts like a mirror for the parts of you that modern life taught you to ignore, your intuition, your inner architecture, your forgotten power. Maybe you've felt it already, the sense that something in your life is calling you, nudging you, trying to reconnect you with a deeper layer of who you are. That call doesn't come from outside, it comes from the lost key you've been carrying internally since the beginning. And once it starts revealing itself, everything shifts, perception, timing, relationships, purpose. So if you're here, it's not random. People don't find this symbol while scrolling aimlessly, the symbol finds them when something inside finally reaches the right frequency. And if you feel even a slight pull toward what you're about to learn, that's your first sign. Because the moment you recognize the presence of a deeper pattern, your life begins moving in a different direction. He explains that certain symbols don't behave like ordinary marks on paper, they behave more like echoes that stir something familiar inside. People often chase rituals, books, and teachers, yet the symbol of creation doesn't respond to that kind of search. It's strange, almost ironic, because the more someone tries to force it, the more elusive it becomes. Ancient mystics knew this well and said the symbol appears only when a person's inner frequency finally stops screaming and starts listening. And when it appears, it feels less like learning something new and more like remembering something old. He often compares it to meeting someone you've never seen before, yet feeling like you've known them for lifetimes. That's how the soul reacts when this lost key surfaces. There's a sudden sense of déjà vu, a quiet recognition that bypasses logic. He remembers a student telling him that the first time she saw it, she felt the same heaviness behind her chest that she felt when rediscovering an old childhood memory. That's the power of an esoteric symbol, meaning encoded not in knowledge, but in memory. He likes to remind people that ancient civilizations weren't just decorating walls with geometry, they were documenting consciousness. They believed each person carried a personal creation code, a geometric imprint that shaped their inner and outer world. So when this symbol reappears in someone's life, it's as if reality itself is nudging their shoulder, saying, "Pay attention. This is yours." And that often explains why some individuals feel drawn to certain shapes without ever studying them. Recognition precedes understanding. He also tells them not to overthink the moment it arrives. Sometimes it shows up in a dream, sometimes while doodling absent-mindedly, sometimes during a period of emotional collapse or transformation. But every time, it carries the same message: you're ready for the next layer. And naturally, once one realizes the symbol itself is alive, the next question becomes unavoidable: what exactly is this lost key of creation, and why does it choose certain people? He explains that in the oldest esoteric teachings, creation was never described as a random cosmic accident. Instead, everything began with frequency, then symbol, then form, in that order. The symbol of creation acted like a blueprint through which energy organized itself into matter. And this isn't just poetic language, it mirrors how music, architecture, and even biological structures follow vibrational patterns. When someone grasps this, they start realizing the universe isn't chaotic, it's coded. He often compares this lost key to the seed inside a fruit. The seed doesn't shout for attention, it quietly holds the entire potential of what will grow. Sacred geometry works the same way. Shapes like the seed of life, flower of life, and Sri Yantra weren't symbols invented by ancient people, they were discoveries of repeating patterns throughout existence. And understanding this gives a whole new depth to the esoteric symbol meaning behind each one. He shares a simple analogy: if someone looked at the blueprint of a house without knowing architecture, it would seem like random lines. But to an engineer, those lines reveal structure, intention, and purpose. Likewise, this divine geometric map reveals the architecture of galaxies, cells, and light itself. The symbol of creation isn't a drawing, it's a multidimensional instruction set. And once someone starts decoding it, they realize the symbol is teaching them how creation actually works. He encourages people to test this. Try meditating on the pattern, he says, and notice how your intuition sharpens. Or he suggests tracing it slowly, letting the hand remember what the mind forgot. Many people report that as they do this, a strange recognition wakes up, as if they're reading something they used to know. And once that recognition begins, they're inevitably led to the next realization: why were symbols the first language of the universe in the first place? He explains that long before humans formed words, reality communicated in patterns. A symbol didn't need translation because it spoke directly to the part of someone that existed before language. That's why the symbol of creation feels familiar even to people who've never studied spirituality. The soul reads it instantly, like a forgotten dialect finally being heard again. And this immediate recognition is what made symbols the universe's first communication system. He likes to tell a story about a traveler who entered a temple expecting written scriptures, only to find a single geometric design carved into stone. A monk told him, "If you understand this, you understand everything." That's the nature of an esoteric symbol meaning: it compresses vast truth into a single image. Unlike words that limit meaning, symbols expand it. They're not decoded with logic, but with presence. He also points out how symbols operate like tuning forks. When someone interacts with the symbol of creation, it resonates with the structure of their own energy field. That resonance awakens clarity, intuition, and emotional alignment. It's the same principle used in sound healing or breathwork: frequency reorganizes internal chaos. So when someone wonders why this lost key disappears for centuries and then suddenly reappears in their life, the reason is simple: their vibration finally matches it. For practical understanding, he suggests observing how people gravitate towards certain logos, icons, or mandalas without knowing why. These modern examples mimic the ancient function of symbols, anchoring meaning beyond words. And once someone realizes symbols were the universe's first language, a quiet question emerges almost automatically: if symbols communicate so deeply, how does one know when the symbol is trying to find them? He explains that when the symbol of creation begins approaching someone, it rarely feels dramatic. It's subtle, almost playful, as if reality is testing whether they're paying attention. People start seeing a shape or pattern repeating in dreams, sketches, or even in the cracks of a sidewalk. And the moment they notice the repetition, something inside whispers, "This isn't random." That's usually the first sign the lost key is knocking. He loves telling the story of a woman who kept doodling the same spiral during work meetings, without knowing why. Weeks later, she found the exact same design engraved on an ancient artifact she randomly saw online. Experiences like this show how the esoteric symbol meaning bypasses logic and communicates directly through recognition. It's the soul remembering what the mind hasn't caught up to yet. And everyone who experiences it says the same thing: "It felt like it was calling me." He suggests paying attention to what someone is drawn to without explanation. Maybe it's Egyptian glyphs, Celtic knots, or Mayan patterns. Maybe it's a repeated triangle shape that keeps showing up on clothes, art, or architecture. The pull isn't aesthetic, it's magnetic. This is how the symbol of creation reveals itself, by aligning itself with someone's attention until they finally realize they're not discovering it, they're remembering it. Recognition, not learning, is the true awakening. For a practical exercise, he recommends keeping a small notebook. Every time a shape or pattern appears repeatedly, write it down, no judgment, no analysis. Over time, a pattern emerges, leading the person closer to their personal lost key. And once these signs begin stacking up, it naturally leads to the next question burning in their mind: if the symbol is finding me, how do I activate it within myself? He explains that activation doesn't happen through force or intellectual effort, it happens through presence. When someone meditates on the symbol of creation, they shouldn't try to figure it out. Instead, they simply observe it, the same way one watches a sunrise, without analysis, just awareness. This soft attention allows the deeper layers of the psyche to open. And before they know it, the symbol begins responding like an old friend waking up. He's seen students unlock profound insight simply by tracing the shape with their fingertips. There's something about that physical gesture, slow, intentional, that awakens cellular memory. It's as if the hand remembers what the mind forgot. This is where the esoteric symbol meaning shows its true nature: it teaches through feeling, not logic. And every stroke of the pencil reconnects the person with the lost key they've carried since birth. He suggests a practical technique: visualize the symbol spinning gently in the solar plexus or the third eye. Don't force it, just imagine it turning like a soft wheel of light. The frequency of this visualization calms emotional turbulence and sharpens intuition, almost like tuning an instrument. People often report that decisions become clearer, energy feels lighter, and synchronicities increase. That's the internal field aligning with the symbol of creation. He reminds them that activation isn't a ritual, it's a relationship. Speak to the symbol during meditation, breathe with it, let it show what it wants to reveal. Control is the enemy of awakening, he says gently. When one stops trying to dominate the experience, something extraordinary begins to unfold. And that unfolding naturally leads to the next realization: what does life look like once someone starts living in alignment with the creation code itself? He explains that once the symbol of creation becomes active, life stops feeling like a sequence of coincidences and starts becoming a series of patterns. People move differently, not rushed, not anxious, just aligned. Decisions that once felt heavy suddenly feel intuitive, almost obvious. This is when the esoteric symbol meaning stops being an idea and becomes a lived experience. And the person realizes they're not just walking through life, they're co-authoring it. He shares the story of a man who, after activating his symbol, stopped forcing every goal and started following the subtle nudges he felt throughout the day. Opportunities that never existed before began showing up out of nowhere. That's the creation code reorganizing reality around the person's inner alignment. The lost key acts like a tuning fork: when someone resonates at the right frequency, life responds. And everyday interactions begin to feel more purposeful. He often suggests a simple practice: treat daily experiences as mirrors. When someone is aligned with the symbol of creation, even small events, like delays, chance encounters, or sudden insights, carry guidance. Relationships shift, timing changes, and clarity replaces confusion. It's as if life starts speaking a language they finally understand. And the more they observe these patterns, the more unmistakable the esoteric symbol meaning becomes. He gently reminds them that alignment isn't perfection, it's awareness. Living with the creation code means accepting that every moment carries intelligence, even the uncomfortable ones. And the deeper someone leans into this awareness, the more their reality transforms from the inside out. Naturally, this awakening leads to an even bigger realization waiting just around the corner, one that ties everything together and prepares them for the next stage of knowledge. Now that you understand how this symbol moves, speaks, and awakens, the real question becomes simple: what will you do with it? Knowing about the symbol of creation is one thing, living in alignment with it is another. And your life won't shift just because you heard these ideas, it shifts the moment you start applying them. Trace the shapes. Pay attention to the patterns. Notice the synchronicities that quietly guide your steps. Ask yourself: what signs have been showing up lately that I've been ignoring? Why do certain symbols, cultures, or patterns feel strangely familiar? What part of my life would transform if I trusted my inner frequency instead of my fear? And the most important one, am I ready to follow the lost key when it begins revealing itself? These questions aren't meant to be answered quickly, they're meant to open doors inside you. If something stirred, even slightly, it's because a deeper part of you is waking up. So don't let this be just another video you watch and forget. Let it be the starting point of a new way of perceiving your existence. And if you want to keep unlocking these layers, learning about symbols, ancient codes, forgotten truths, and the hidden architecture of consciousness, then subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's a lot more waiting for you, and you're just getting started.